Thanks very much, Struan, and thanks very much to you and to Alejo indeed for the leading work you've done consistently on this issue. We're all extremely grateful for the leadership you've given to this group. I'm coming toward the end of a 30-year career as a member of the European Parliament, nevertheless a long time. And I'd like to look back at a couple of speeches I gave a long time ago and read just a couple of extracts before going on from that. The first is a speech I gave on the 18th of April in 1991. And I said there, the figures I'm about to give are from the Agence France Presse and from official announcements by the Iranian regime. Some figures for March. On 17th of March, there were 34 executions in Iran. On 12th of March, 29. On 5th of March, 40. On 4th of March, 9 executions. And I could add a whole sheaf back through February and January. In 1990 alone, there were over 600 executions in Iran. President Rafsanjani of Iran is trying to present a moderate image to the world. I would ask members on the basis of these figures to ask themselves whether it is a moderate regime. I think the answer has to be no. On the 21st of April 1994, I said, I hope they will learn the mistake Western governments are making in continuing to engage in trade and aid with this disgraceful Iranian regime. In doing that, we are indirectly assisting in undermining the Middle East peace process and in the export of fundamentalism and terrorism. It is a grave mistake. We wind the clock forward 23 years, and we find another supposed moderate president in charge in Iran. But just look at the reality on the ground. We have reports from Amnesty International and UN watch groups that we've got an increase in the persecution of ethnic and religious minorities, the cracking down on opposition political figures, the mistreatment of political prisoners, arbitrary detention and unfair trials, and of course a surge in capital punishment and public executions. Iran is now ranked number 1 in terms of executions per capita, surpassing even China. Executed people in 2014 included women, human rights activists, political activists, and religious and ethnic minorities. And according to Ahmed Shahid, the UN Special Rapporteur for Human Rights in Iran, at least 176 people were executed in January, February, and early March of 2014. Several in public. At least 500 were executed in 2013, 57 of them in public. Those executed included 27 women and 2 children. And these numbers are only those officially documented. The true figures, as we've heard, are probably much higher. According to the Iran Human Rights Documentation Center, more than 500 people have been executed since Rohani has taken office. Add to that the atrocities that they're committing in Syria and Iraq, including those cold-blooded murders in Camp اشرف and Camp Lيبرتي, and you really have to ask how on earth Rohani can be described as a moderate. He's far from being that, but the real problem is, and I've come to see this even more clearly since he came to power, the real problem is the mullah's regime. The only way the problem can be solved, the only way the Iranian people can be given hope and a future is through regime change in Iran. I think the good thing is, the reason we're here today is because we recognise that there is a movement capable to lead and make that change possible, make that regime change possible. I've been working with the People's Mujahideen of Iran for 3 decades now. I'm very proud that from my earliest days as a member of the European Parliament, I've worked with them. I think the PMOI is the best chance for the Iranian people to topple the mullahs and their regime, and the best means to establish a democratic and free Iran. I look forward to that day very much, and the sooner the better. Thank you.